Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Jensen and welcome to class, and I'm here to personally welcome you to fall semester 2023. So I know it's syllabus day, you're starting a new class, and there's a lot of information to go through and things can get a little bit tedious. So if you need to increase the playback speed and make me go a little bit faster, I will not be offended by that, and we'll jump right into some details to help you be successful in class. So let's get started. I'm going to put myself over here in the bottom corner, and we'll jump right in. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about me. We have no textbook and what our class goals are. We'll go over expectations, others that will be involved in the class, and then finally how to be successful. So I'll move myself up in this corner, sorry. There we go. This is my educational background. So I actually received my bachelor's degree in sociology from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas. I went on to get a Master of Liberal Arts degree there as well. And then I did this a little bit out of order. I got my PhD in sociology with a specialty in criminology from University of Oklahoma. And then I went back to school to the University of Louisville and got an MSW not that long ago. So I previously taught at BYU for over 7 years at the associate professor rank. And I was brought to University of Florida specifically to teach this course in research methods. So I've been teaching it for many years now. I've taught it for, I want to say 13 years, about half in person and half online. And it is my highest rated course. So I take a lot of pride in this class and I put a lot of my effort and energy into it so that you can be successful in completing this requirement for your major. So I am like you. I always like to say that first and foremost. I am an online learner, so that master's degree I did in 2017 was 100% online. So I've been on the other side of the keyboard, having to watch videos and submit assignments and traveling and all the things that go with being an online learner. So being in different time zones, group assignments are tricky, especially when you have classmates in different time zones. It can be challenging, but I've been on your side of the keyboard, in your shoes. I've tried to design my class accordingly so that you can have the supports that you need to be successful. So just letting you know that I know what it's like to be an online learner. So just a little more background where I've worked, practiced, and partnered. I'm not going to go through this list in a lot of detail, but I have worked extensively throughout the criminal justice field and also in child welfare. If you're interested in discussing some of those areas, maybe you're interested in professionally, feel free to reach out and we can go through that together. So this class does not have a textbook. We just do hands-on learning, and all of our materials and readings are open source and freely available. So, and I authored a lot of material myself, so we don't need a textbook really for this class. We're good. And also best practices. We're going to be using a lot of software. So some of you have had me in classes before where we just go through a lot of material and we do discussion boards and exams and papers and short assignments, and you can kind of pop in your earbuds and listen to me go and fold your laundry and be good with it. This class is different. So this is a very hands-on class. It's an applied class where you're going to be navigating and working in labs and software. So this is research methods and statistics. It's taught in an applied manner for your job. So you want to treat this class kind of like a data management workshop where you're going to be using a computer or a laptop, running functions and software and doing things physically every day, just about. We don't have discussion boards, but we will have regular communication times. You can call me. I actually have a Google Voice number that forwards to my cell. You can text that number, and I offer regular Zoom sessions if you need any help with troubleshooting or have questions. So this next slide actually features kind of the back of the head of our assistant to our department chair in sociology, criminology, and law. That's Lysandra. And I had her pose in this picture for me to show you a good setup for this class. So you want to have either dual monitors or phone or tablets next to your computations for your lab. So as you can see, she has her computer, or for many of you, a laptop, and then she has her phone kind of next to the computer. So you can go through lectures and labs kind of in a device separately from your computer, so that frees up your hands and your screen space to actually run the functions. So this is the setup I recommend to help you be successful. So having a laptop, running your functions in the software, and then again using a device, phone, tablet nearby where I can kind of coach you through the steps, the menus, and the functions and what to run. So this is kind of how you want to get set up for class, especially when you do labs, and you may even need to do it to run functions for your final projects. So as far as class goals are concerned, my goals are to teach you the basics of research and to get you comfortable using SPSS. Now, SPSS stands for Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. It's the software that's required for class that we use, and I'll show you how to access that software shortly. We also practice the basics of social research, especially as they pertain to studying crime. We're going to bring all your skills together, and we practice those skills through our labs into writing a final paper or research report, which again is a program requirement for your criminology degree. So my expectations of you are you do need to use that SPSS software. And again, I'll show you how to access it momentarily. But be very hands-on and active. Communicate often and early for help. Again, calling me, emailing me, or setting up a Zoom session with me. I will work on variables with students. We'll code together. We'll run functions together live and troubleshoot. So I really don't have any issue working side by side with you on data or analysis or anything that we're working on in class. So this is a 4-credit class, so you want to make sure you spend that preparation on skills, your practice labs, and your final paper. So I've asked students many times over the years, how much time do you spend on this class? And they said they spend about 12 to 16 hours a week on average, which again, being a 4-credit class, that's pretty normal. So you may spend a couple of hours on labs and then a couple of hours on assignments. Some weeks will be a little lighter than others, but it's pretty steady for the most part. This course also meets the UF Gordon rule, which is you need to create 24,000 words of research and writing in order to get your bachelor's degree at the University of Florida. So this class contributes to that research writing requirement. It's a 4,000-word class, meaning you must complete a 20 to 25-page original research paper to pass the course. Don't worry, we write as we go. This is kind of a sequential portfolio where we write sections one at a time and give you feedback and scoring on those sections so that you can revise and ultimately create your final draft. So what you should expect from me, I try to be really good about responding to you in a timely manner, giving you an email response in the next 1 to 2 business days. Sometimes I don't get to it, or I just get an exploded inbox with questions and I don't quite get to everything. So, and again, you know, with holidays and weekends, things kind of get shuffled a little bit. But if you haven't heard from me, keep reaching out. Sometimes I just need you to get to the top of my inbox and just follow up. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Or, you know, again, sometimes things get shuffled. So please just be patient with me as I try to get a response to you. I also have graduate teaching assistants that help me with this class, so you'll be in contact with them. And they are required to provide office hours and online help through Zoom, so they can also help you with your labs, your projects, and assignments. I'm also available for phone calls, Skype sessions, Zoom, FaceTime, you know, whatever format or software you want to go through, that's totally fine. I also do virtual office hours from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily, Monday through Friday. So I don't usually just sit like a fish in a fishbowl waiting for people to walk in the Zoom room. I spend that time working on items, grading, responding to messages, but that's the time I set aside to be available and open to you. So if you want to meet with me during that time every day, just send out a request, again, either phone, text, or email, and I'll send you a Zoom link so we can jump in a session together during that time. So it's kind of by appointment. Otherwise, yeah, just reach out if you want to meet outside that time. I know you're online. I know sometimes it's preferable to meet maybe in the late afternoon or early evening, and even sometimes on the weekends. I try to be available when I can. I'm not a 24-hour help desk, but at the same time, I know sometimes students are in different time zones or have work responsibilities or caregiving responsibilities. And I know a lot of students, especially online, will do their homework in labs in the evening and on the weekends. And your labs and projects are usually due Sunday night. So if you work through the week and you need the weekends to get your online studies done, that hopefully will be good for you. The other reason I do those virtual office hours kind of between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. is most people, even that work full-time or have classes, can usually carve out a break for lunch, and that kind of gives you a little bit of that window to work with. I'm also here to provide reassurance when you make mistakes. It's how we learn. I guarantee you will make a recoding error in this class. It happens to me even today where I haven't kept track of something and there's a detail I missed and I have to start over and scrap a variable that I just spent all this time making and now I have to fix it. So, you know, we're all human. That's why we're here. It's going to happen. So if you find yourself redoing something or yelling at your screen, chances are there's something I can do to help you to make your life easier and to speed things up. So, or there might be a very quick little step that you're missing that can solve that problem for you. So again, just reach out. So again, we use this software, statistical package for the social sciences, and you can use the free version covered by your University of Florida student fees, and that free version can be found at login.apps.ufl.edu. And I'll take a moment just to show you what that looks like so that you can see how to access it. So here I went ahead and typed in login.apps.ufl.edu, and here you're going to sign in with your GatorLink credentials, your username and password. So we're going to log on, and you'll be asked to authenticate using Duo, right? So most people use their cell phone to do that. So you'll go ahead and authenticate in that manner. And then it will load what we call the Citrix receiver, which is basically just an online server host or gateway that hosts different programs. So right here you can see you're brought to kind of a home page. Most of the time you'll be brought to this page, which is the apps page. So this is a list of all the software programs that you have access to via site-wide, university-wide licenses here at University of Florida. These are alphabetical, so if you need to, you can scroll all the way down to SPSS statistics, and you'll see we have a couple of versions because we regularly relicense these all the time. And go ahead and use the star function in the upper left corner to make it a favorite. That way you don't have to scroll through all these programs if you don't want to. And then the next time you sign in, you're brought to just your favorites, and you can launch the program when you're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and open this program. Now just be warned, this is a little bit of a RAM hog, and so it takes a while to open. IBM bought this program back in the day, and it's been around for a long time. In fact, the very first version of SPSS started back in the 80s, and the first version I used was version 14, and now we're up to version 29. So I've been using the software for many, many years now. They release a new version just about every year. So as you can see, it's starting to open. You'll see that little sigma symbol. That's how you know you have the right program. That's the icon they use to represent it. But essentially, it'll open the program, and I'll show you how to start accessing data inside your labs and assignments. This is also where you'll access data for your final project. So when the program launches, you'll get a window that looks kind of like this. And again, this is just a blank version of a data set or a series of data observations. That's what we call a data set. And I like to go ahead and kind of use my little tweezers and kind of expand my view a little bit so I can see more all at once, so I can really establish a good view. But when you go to access data, there's a couple of things that you do. So just go to File, Open Data, and then you'll find out that we use a program called the R drive. So if I click on this drop-down menu, you can scroll down, and the R drive is located in your file directory, and the R drive stands for the research drive. So you go to Courses, and then you select your course, and then you go ahead and open that folder. You go to Data, and then inside your Data folder, you have all kinds of folders and files that we use for different labs and exercises in class. So in here, I'll go ahead and open this data. So once I open data, here's the data set. So everything is here for you to use, again, for labs and projects, and we start working in the software program together. So one other thing I'll show you, back on the Citrix receiver, there's two drives that I also recommend that you make a favorite. So the first is the research drive, and in the research drive, you have kind of a storage of all your files that you need for class. And then secondly, the M drive. The M drive is student file storage set aside just for you. So anytime you work on your assignments or labs or any data or anything you need to save in the software program, you can save it on the M drive itself. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and close this. In here, this is a little window that shows you the R drive, right? So this is kind of a drive located on a server within UF Apps that has several terabytes of computing power to host all these different kinds of things for us. So this is also where you can go and launch your files. But this is just kind of a quick way to look at how to use the software on a hosted server at UF Apps. So I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and jump back into our overview. All right, so back to where we left off. That's how you go access UF apps. There's also another place that, if you would like, can purchase your own copy of SPSS statistics for your own computer. You can go to this website. It's called onthehub.com, and it's basically an educational software vendor that lets you download temporary licenses for different educational purposes. And the way they authenticate that is you have to have a .edu email address. So you were issued an email address that has .edu on it for University of Florida, and that's what you use to verify that, yes, you are a student and you're using this for your studies at your university. So you don't have to do this. You can certainly use the free version, and I would say over 90% of our students use the free version, but some people just don't really like, their internet connectivity. It's kind of slow, or they travel a lot and they'd rather just have their own copy installed on their machine. So you can actually go to this website, you'll search on SPSS, and they have different versions of licenses. I'm going to show you that now in case you are interested. So I'm here on the Hub website, and again, you can shop for different products, and you can see there's data analysis, there's business and office, but these are software that students are often interested in. So I can go ahead and search for SPSS, and you can see there's different products that you can buy that are SPSS. So the product that you want is the SPSS Standard Grad Pack. So you can see the Standard Grad Pack is available here. You can get version 28 or version 29. Either will be fine for a class or whatever the latest version is right now. So we're going to go ahead and hit version 29. And here, it's Standard Grad Pack. This has all your functions that you want. So you can select your product from the drop-down. You can use it for Windows or Mac, and you can either get the 12-month or the 6-month rental, so it's just a temporary license. So you select which one you're interested in, and then you go through the shopping cart function to go ahead and finish your purchase. And then you'll be prompted to download the software onto your computer. So because our class only takes place over fall semester, you really only need the 6-month license if you would like to purchase it. If you know you're going to do a senior thesis or do more research in the future, then maybe you should get the 12-month if that's coming up in the next few months after this semester. And again, we can consult on that together if you would like, but that's where you would go purchase the software. All right, so that's where you can buy it, but again, please mention to me first if you're going to do that, because we may determine together that you really don't need to buy it, but some people prefer that. So reach out to me if you have questions on whether or not you should purchase your own copy. So how to be successful in class? Keep in mind, this class is kind of like a data workshop. It's very hands-on, and treat it kind of like a capstone and a training course for your criminology career, because we're going to be looking at how we answer questions in criminology using research and data analysis. So it's very quantitative, but we do cover all of the different research methodologies that we use in the field. So I'm going to go full screen for just a moment here. So make sure you do a little bit of back-to-school shopping and get some supplies. So these are two things I recommend. So Post-it note is super handy because we're going to be in lots of data, lots of variables, using lots of code books, and sometimes you have to jot down a few details or a location where something is, and you just need to scribble something down while you're navigating through multiple screens, and you can't look at everything at the same time. Even dual monitors, I still find myself jotting things down on Post-it notes. So grab some notes that you can use. Also, keep a data log. So even just having a notebook like this, just something easy that, is kind of bound. I don't like the tearaway notebooks, but those are fine too. So just something you can kind of keep your notes on in class, especially when you start working on your final paper. This comes in super handy. So go grab one at your local store because this is what's going to keep you organized and keep you from going crazy when you have lots of details to track in class. Or if you're more of a keep it organized on a Word document person, you can do that too. But again, because we're in software, you're listening to lecture, you're navigating a lab, you're in Canvas submitting work. Those are 4 different windows that you're going to have to keep track of. And sometimes it's just easier to write things down. So let alone having your notes on a Word document in a separate software program, right? So again, this can be kind of a lifesaver in this class. So keep a data log or a notebook of all your notes when running analyses, because you're going to work on things over multiple days at a time. And you want to make sure that you don't lose track of what you did last time you were in your data or the last time you worked on a lab. So one thing that's kind of nice is you don't have to do the labs all in one sitting. You can kind of do them over a couple of days, maybe half one night and half the next night. That's fine. Canvas is pretty good at saving your work as you go, but you may want to think about a good time that's consistent each week to go ahead and do your lab work or your homework for the week. So dedicate that time, and if you're consistent on that, that just helps you be a more successful online learner, having your time that you do your schoolwork each day. Make sure you install or obtain your software early, so make sure you can easily navigate to apps.ufl.edu, or you go install the software from on the hub, because we're going to be in that software pretty much on a daily and weekly basis regularly, so I want to make sure you have access to that. I also keep copies of all the data sets and all the code books and files that we use in class on our course homepage, so if you find yourself needing to access those files outside of the app server environment, there's a way that you can do that. So make sure you also use good file storage habits and good naming conventions, because again, as we work in things over time, we need to keep track of what we've done or the last step that we did. So it'll help keep you organized in a class that has lots of details to keep track of. So also be honest with what's working and what doesn't, what's confusing. If I can put a file up or a mention or an announcement that helps you or answers questions for you and your classmates, that's fine. I actually have you work with a lab partner, back to the good old days, right, of having a lab partner, or other classmates that you know. You can work together on assignments and in labs, and especially when you're working on the same data set, you should be getting the same answer, right? So that's really helpful. Two heads are better than one, I just like to provide those resources to my students. So again, we're in this world of research, analysis, big data, evidence-based decision-making, artificial intelligence. It's a great time to be alive, but it has a lot of data that needs to be analyzed. So I tell people this is one of the most important classes you're going to take in the major, because you learn how to do the process of research, you learn how to use a software program, and you know how to do data management. And those are skills you can use with literally almost any employer in the world. Everybody has data that they need to work with for their organization, and it needs to be handled, organized, and analyzed. So you'll get really proficient in those kind of skills, and they become very, very valuable to you over your career. So other than that, I am glad to answer any questions that you have, and I will say a quick goodbye. So please reach out if you have questions, and we'll see you this upcoming semester.